welcome to A Mug's Life. In this podcast, guests bring up to 5 mugs and we chat through each one, the stories they hold, and what makes each mug so special. Grab a cup of tea or any drink of your choice and come and join us. Hello and welcome to our final episode of season 3. I cannot quite believe that we're here and it's the end of the year and it's almost Christmas. It's all happened very quickly this year. You are in for such a treat with the last episode of our season. I chatted to Rachel Atkinson, who has a British wool and yarn company called Daughter of a Shepherd. Rachel was inspired to start Daughter of a Shepherd after seeing her dad receive a cheque for 94 pence from the British Wool Board, which represented 10% of the final value. From then, she was on a mission to bring back the provenance of British wool and to shine a light on just how wonderful these wools can be. She does limited collections and editions and very small runs of yarn, which are hugely popular. She is the daughter of a shepherd herself, as her father was a shepherd in Yorkshire, and that is where she grew up. This episode is such a warm and cozy hug and a mug that it's perfect for this time of year. We have lots of giggles, it's lots of fun, and of course there are absolutely amazing mugs that Rachel brings us. From sheep and sheep memes that I was completely unaware of, to beautiful handcrafted, artisan and independently made mugs. She also advocates and encourages supporting these businesses and talks about how essential it is that we continue to support those people and independent shops as a way of ensuring that these skills are passed down through generations so that the skills are not lost. We of course had to talk about Rachel's beloved terrier, Dee Dee, and she does make an appearance. I'm wishing you a lovely, relaxing, cozy end of the year, and we will see you next year. Thank you so much for all of your support. It has been a wild, in the best way possible, year for A Mug's Life, and I couldn't be more grateful for everybody who listens or watches. I feel so lucky to have such incredible conversations with phenomenal guests. Grab a cup of tea, a mince pie maybe, and enjoy the episode. Welcome to A Mug's Life, Rachel.
Hello, Juliet.
I'm so happy to have you. How would you describe what you do, actually? I was thinking of how to describe what you do.
Predominantly, it's a knitting wool company set up after, well, actually it's my 10th anniversary. We just hit the 10-year mark last week. Last week. My dad was a shepherd. He had a flock of Hebridean sheep, which are this really dark fleece that you can see behind. He was getting nothing for the fleece from the wool board, and I was quite shocked by it. And then I did some travelling to Scotland, and there they have a lot of sheep, beautiful fleece, lovely wool, and the farms all send their fleece to one mill on the island, and then the farm shops on the island sell the wool next to the meat and the milk and the butter and the cheese. And they were selling the wool, the finished wool, next to the actual sheep in the field. And I was like, this all makes so much sense. You raise your sheep, you have your wool, you spin the wool, and then you sell it alongside all the other farm products.
Yeah.
And I was like, why aren't we getting as much? Why aren't people valuing the British wool as much as these farms? So I bought the wool clip from Dad's flock, had it spun, and went through the process of finding out how to spin it and who could spin it, and ended up with a wool. It started as an experiment and more of I just need to prove that I can do this, or that this fibre is worth more than the price they were being paid, basically, which was pence. And what was an experiment then turned into my business. So yeah, 10 years. So I do the wool. I do occasionally do other products such as wool blankets and fabrics, do a little bit of designing, and then I sell books and other sheepy items and things for knitters as well.
I just think the name is Daughter of a Shepherd. It's the most brilliant name. You are the daughter of a shepherd.
I am the daughter of a shepherd, yeah. So that was always my tagline on social media going back forever. Before I did this, it was daughter of a shepherd, wool is in the blood kind of thing. Because I've been a knitter for years and years and years. It made sense when I launched the business and I was trying to think of names, and it was like, well, that's perfect. So, and then I worked with a friend who's a graphic designer, and he designed a really beautiful logo for me as well that came from small photographs of me as a child when my dad had other sheep as a part-time job. It was a hobby. He used to have the sheep to train sheepdogs on, which he really loved doing. His full-time work was as a lingerie salesman.
Quite the contrast.
So, yeah, it was. So through the week he was out selling ladies' smalls. Weekends, evenings, whenever the sheep got out, he'd be down with them. So yeah, and there's photographs of me as a kid and my sister as well with the sheep and all of that kind of thing. So it has been a lifelong connection to the sheep.
And what made him first want to buy sheep and then take them on?
I mean, this is going back to before we were born. He's always loved dogs and loved training them, and he used to have German shepherds and train them for the police work, but as competition. He stopped doing the German shepherds, but he still wanted to have dogs and do training and really enjoys it. So we got a border collie. I think I was about 3, maybe 4, and he got his first border collie puppy called Beth. She stayed with us for she was 18, 19 when she died, and through that time there was other sheepdogs coming and going, and he'd train them to work the sheep and do competitions and buy and sell and all of those kinds of things. Obviously, to train the dogs you need the sheep, which is where the sheep came in. So basically it was all about the dogs, and still is really, but the sheep are part of it, part and parcel.
That's really cool. That was in Yorkshire, is that right?
Village just outside Selby in North Yorkshire. Yeah.
And when it comes to your labels, I was reading or watching another one of your conversations, and I love how on the labels that you have, I don't know if it's the same now, you've got the name of the shepherd, is it the grazing land, and then the clip date, or that's what you had at the time. And I love that because I think you talked about wanting to be traceable and having a really clear path back to where it's come from.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it comes back to what was happening in Gotland. It was like, yes, this wool was from this farm. It was this person who raised these sheep. Because when you buy wool or a wool jumper, you maybe don't give much thought to where it's actually come from. And also, sheep's fleece is affected by the weather and the land and sickness, health, so many different things. So it's never the same year after year, which goes into putting the clip date on it, because then you can date it back to whether or not it was a good year. It's basically like wine, but a bit more rustic. So, yeah, because some years, if you have a lot of bad weather, which happened with us one year, it had just rained and rained and rained, and this particular flock live outside all year round, and the fleece had just become felted and damaged because it was so wet and we couldn't work with it. And other years it'll be perfect conditions and you'll get the best wool. So it's nice to know how the wool matches the year, kind of thing. And like say, like knowing who's looked after these sheep and who reared them, who cares for them, and all of those kinds.
Yeah, because it's so, you're right that it's so rare to know where what you're buying has come from and how it's been made.
Yeah, it's quite homogenous, and it just becomes a wool. British wool, there's so many different breeds and each one has a different quality, and I sort of wanted to put some provenance into the business. I was on a bit of a mission at the time, and I was just like, yeah, this is how it should be. And it's really nice because there were people doing it, but not to quite the same extent. We should be really celebrating what we've got with natural wool and all these variety of breeds and the natural colours. It's nice to see sort of 10 years on how the industry has changed as well, and people are more accepting of rustic wools rather than the really smooth merinos. They like the natural colours. They don't want superwash treatments. They're looking for more natural, as close to the sheep as possible, basically. And things like the black wool was really undervalued because you can't dye it. So in the big industries, it's kind of only used for carpets and things like that, insulation. But it has become a much more valuable product now because people just appreciate it for what it is, which is just this incredible colour. So. Yeah.
And you probably would be quite humble about your success, but I think you've obviously built quite a following over
over the decade, you do quite limited collections, or I don't know whether you'd call them an edition of wool. Or
nice, a new edition.
How has that been, and how's that to experience in terms of putting out something and then seeing the response to it and seeing so much appetite?
It's been amazing. I've had so much support. I used to work as a knitting editor, knitting, crochet and craft book editor, magazine editor, pattern editor. So I already knew quite a lot of people in the industry who really buoyed me along and gave me some great publicity as well. But I used to write a blog as well, and that had quite a lot of followers, and everybody just got behind it. I think they could see the potential in what I was saying. So every time I find a new breed or a particular flock that I want to work with, which hasn't happened for a few years, I'm always on the lookout for new things and new ways of using the fibres as well. It's always really exciting to see people just really get behind it. I think I've worked really hard to produce a really nice product and to produce the best product possible, and that's credit to the people all down the chain that I work with, so the shepherds and the scourers who wash it, the mills who spin it. And I've always been really transparent and honest about the wool. I've never tried to sell it as something it's not. I think people trust me, which is really lovely, because I'm literally not trying to fleece anyone. That's such a terrible pun. I quite like that. So yeah, I'm just really honest about what I do. I mean, it's just good, honest wool, really. And I never went into it to market it as something that's like cashmere, because it's not. It's got its own set of values and its own good things about it. So it's just knowing what to do with it, and hopefully I've kind of got that across in the years.
It's so evident your love and passion, but also connection, obviously, to the heritage, to your dad, and then people can see that because it comes from some long love of it and the industry, which I think is amazing. I'm such a fan. I'm a fangirl.
Thank you.
I think I remember Mum telling me years ago, and I was like, that's so cool. And then one of my friends from work, when I looked on Instagram, followed you. I was like, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to say, you talk about, obviously, when you are deciding to maybe do a new breed or new collection, which sounds sort of like scouting for talent.
It kind of is, yeah. It's kind of the same thing.
Do you have to go, or do you like to go on research trips or holidays where you can see that kind of wildlife? As it were.
Yeah. Kind of busman's holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, usually if we're travelling somewhere, like, I don't know, if we go down to Devon to visit friends or up to the north and you see sheep, and if I see something quite unusual, I'll be like, oh, make a note of where that is and see if I can find out who it is. But one of the big problems with what I do, and 10 years ago as well, what was very different was that there weren't many mills around who would deal with small quantities. So the big mills in Yorkshire, you were looking at needing at least a tonne. They wanted a tonne plus of fibre, whereas some of these flocks are just like, you might get 20 kilos of wool. And if you put that into the big scourers, it just vanishes. Basically, you'll never get back what you put in. That has changed over the years because the industry has realised there's a hungry market for running smaller quantities of these fleeces and they charge a premium for it, which is fine. And there's more and more mills have popped up as well, and people who can deal with these things. So going back, I might have found a flock, or somebody would message me and say, oh, I've got some fleeces, but I couldn't take them to do anything specific with just because there wasn't enough of it. And so those fleeces would go into one of our other yarns that I launched, which is a mixture of different breeds, and it was a way of using all of these different small flocks. Yeah. So if I'm scouting around, I usually just make a note. I have been known to leave messages and things like that at farmers' doors, but
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, that works sometimes. Other times they're just like, what are you doing?
I hope do you have a little stamp, like a daughter of a shepherd stamp you could just add to your note?
Oh yeah, I do actually. I hadn't even thought of that, but I should definitely do that.
Next time. Well, maybe you need like a royal seal and some
seal of approval.
Yeah, you could just attach it to the fence.
That's a good idea, a declaration.
So, we come to our mugs, or your mugs. How many mugs have you got to talk through today?
Well, I picked out 5 and a little one.
Perfect.
Well, as we've been talking about sheep
Yes.
and what I do, I'll talk about this one first. Can you is it reading the right way round?
Yeah. Could you describe the colour, what's on it, and what it says for anybody who's listening?
So this is a mug from the Museum of English Rural Life, or the MERL, in Reading. When Twitter was good, when I used to be on Twitter, they had the best Twitter account, like one of my favourite Twitter accounts, and they used to go through their archive and find old farming photographs. So this mug was a tribute to one of their biggest stars, and it says, "Look at this absolute unit." And there's a big old merino ram, and he is an absolute unit. It became a bit of a meme kind of thing. It's bright yellow and it's got the sheep on the front, a photograph of this unit, Museum of English Rural Life, on the back. This is one of my work mugs. It's really battered and it's got a crack in it, but it still holds tea. So yeah, and I have a little space where my partner's business is, and Bryan, who works for them, comes around with tea twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day for us, and he always brings me a mug that's got a sheep on, so he knows. He brought me this one this morning as well, but this is my favourite one.
So that's great. So he comes round, the tea's made how you like it, 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah, and I found out, I was like, I'm going to go get a cup of tea, I'll see if Bryan wants one. Bryan, would you like tea? I don't drink tea, I only drink coffee. And I was like, you're making tea for everyone, but he doesn't actually drink tea himself. Sometimes if you're really lucky as well, he appears with a bourbon biscuit or a mince pie today, so it's nice.
Bryan.
Yeah, Bryan's
He's just spreading the
star.
joy, one tea at a time.
We keep threatening to get him a tea trolley.
This is hilarious.
I know, it's hilarious. Oh, Bryan.
How many people is he making tea for?
Oh, there's only... it's usually 4 of us. But if it's a really busy week, then there might be up to 10. But I think when it goes beyond a certain number, he's just like, no, that's too many. That's too much tea in my life. Oh, there's Bryan. He just popped his head round.
Bryan.
You want the dog or not?
Do you know he's got a full-time role there? He's got dog care and tea duties.
Then he's got his job to do as well.
And his job.
Yeah.
Did you say sometimes Bryan comes with a biscuit too?
He does occasionally. Well, he always used to bring his bourbon creams, is the usual biscuit. And then I reached a point where I was like, Bryan, you can't bring me any more biscuits because I'm eating too many biscuits. And so now they're on request. But today he brought a mince pie with my morning tea, so that's quite exciting.
I was going to say festive.
Yeah. Got to make the most of the mince pies.
This is amazing, an unexpected start already of the podcast in Bryan.
There you go.
Just going back to your wonderful yellow mug, this ram became quite a star for the museum.
He did, yeah. So
how did this happen? And where does he live? Or where did he live?
Do you know, I can't remember. I should have looked it up, shouldn't I? But, I mean, he's absolutely massive. And the original photograph of him just stood in a yard, in a farmyard. He's definitely a merino. And they just posted it one day with, look at this absolute unit. And it was just one of those things that took off around Twitter. I hope they're still going over there. I really miss Twitter. I really miss it. It was one of those... Because I work from home or I work by myself, it felt like quite a nice little chatty office space, and there'd always be something silly going on, and I kind of kept out of all the politics and that side of it. And you met fabulous people like the MERL. I'll give them a shout out. If you're in Reading, go and visit them. You might see a picture of this absolute unit.
Maybe they'll still sell the mug too.
They might do. I think I got a tea towel as well.
With the same thing on it? With the...
Yeah.
Love it, you went absolutely all in on the
merch.
The meme. Yeah, the merch.
Might as well make the most of the merch. It's been around for a little while, and it still makes me smile. He's a fabulous.
And you say that it's a merino. Can you tell that just by looking at it?
Yeah, the size of him. You can see how... I'm saying this now, and I'm questioning myself. But to me, he looks like a merino just because of the size and the shape, and he's quite heavy at the front here, and his fleece is starting to go in folds, his face and his horns. I don't know if you remember, it was a few years ago, there was a sheep found in a cave in New Zealand. They nicknamed him Shrek because I think he was a merino, but he hadn't been shorn for years, and his fleece had just kept on growing. And he appeared and he was absolutely huge, this huge fleece. And they did shear him because it's really not healthy for sheep to keep their fleece. It does need removing. They're a product of domestication. If they were still wild, they'd shed their fleece naturally, but they were bred so that we could shear the fleece and make use of it. Shrek managed to avoid the shearers for a few years and hid in a cave, and he appeared, look him up, poor thing. But he survived. That was a bit of an offshoot.
Because is it like a merino wool is seen as quite soft?
Yeah, so merino, it's seen as being like a soft wool that's used in a lot of commercial manufacturing, and most of it comes from Australia because they have millions of sheep. It usually goes from Australia to China for washing, and it'll sometimes be spun there, it'll sometimes be spun in Italy, or it'll be sold off in batches and sold around the world. So the vast majority of wool does that cycle from Australia through China and then out into the world, which is another thing that made what I was doing very different. It was such a local product, and being able to pinpoint every step of the production added more value to it as well. And yeah.
And I'm sure, I have no idea what I'm talking about, so correct me if I'm wrong. There are lots of sheep in the UK as well?
There are,
Yeah.
yes. There's loads of sheep in the UK. I think it's 72 different breeds of all different colours and qualities. And whereas the merino is just one sort of homogenous white wool being bred purely for commercial purposes.
So why do you think it wasn't happening? Is it because it's cheaper to import from all corners of the world than it is to make it in the UK?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's a breakdown of our manufacturing that's happened over the years, because at one point the nation was built on wool and made a lot of people very, very rich, the British wool industry, and having things manufactured here, and then we were sending it out into the world. And then with the coming of acrylics and the chemical industry, it just meant the natural products were becoming too expensive. It was something that I learned as I started the business, how much our manufacturing's changed. And so by doing what I was doing, I mean, it was in a very small way, I was contributing to keeping the scourers open in Keighley, supporting mills in Yorkshire and in Devon, and in turn they're employing people, but also they're passing on skills, because once all those mills have closed and the scourers have closed, those skills are gone, because it's such a specialised job, and once we lose the skills we lose the industry completely. So that was also a very big part of what became a very big part of the story. It's like, look at what we've got and we're not making use of it. So
Yeah, because you talked about it before with your dad. I was shocked by the cost you said from the British Wool Board. He'd got a cheque for 94 pence, which represented 10% of his
of the final value.
Yeah, for producing 450 fleeces.
Yeah. I mean, it was just shocking. And the Hebrideans, they're not the easiest sheep to shear either. They're quite bony and angular underneath their fleece, so the shearers can't get a nice smooth line. So they charge a higher price for shearing them as well, which I think at the time was like £1.20 or £1.30 per sheep. It was costing to have them shorn. You weren't getting back what you're paying for the shearing. There was this beautiful wool at the end of it. It just didn't make sense to me.
That's why it's brilliant in what you've done, and then also I imagine others that you've met throughout this process who are also doing the same to bring back the heritage of wool in the UK.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Shall we go on to your second mug?
Yeah. Go this one next.
Okay.
I should have done it as a lucky dip, maybe. So my next mug is, it's a classic Emma Bridgewater, but this one was a limited edition for Betty's in Yorkshire, celebrating their fat rascal. There's a little fat rascal in the bottom of the mug as well. Ooh. I've got a few Emma Bridgewater mugs, and I do love the decoration, and they're always different, aren't they? They're quite amusing as well a lot of the time. This one with Betty's, so the fat rascal. Do you know the fat rascal?
I was about to ask for a full explanation of the fat rascal.
About Rascal, it's a Yorkshire scone or scone. It's quite large and it's got loads of fruit in it. Then they put a little face on. So there's 2 half glacé cherries for the eyes and then almonds for the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And they're really delicious. Best eaten warm. They're really crumbly. And with butter, obviously, because butter is life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is I think this is definitely my favourite, Emma Bridgewater. And they're a good size for tea. I do like these for tea. I must say, all the mugs I've brought are for tea. And then I do have a coffee mug to tell you about as well.
Wonderful. And Betty's is obviously the famous... What is it? A tea house? What's it called?
Yeah, tea room. Isn't
Tea room.
It?
That's
yeah,
it. Not
tea
house.
room. I think they started in Harrogate, and then they've got a few shops. There's one in York that we used to go to. I remember going with Mum years ago for tea, and we had pikelets, which are these very thin crumpets. They were covered in this cinnamony butter and served warm, and they were just so delicious. They're one of those food memories that I sort of cherish. And there's always a queue outside at Betty's as well. You usually have to queue to go in. And their baked goods are just so good. Highly recommended. They also send out a really nice Christmas catalogue. And I love a Christmas catalogue. Good hours usually spent when the Betty's Christmas catalogue arrives. Ooh. See what
do you ever order from these Christmas catalogues, or is it as much the enjoyment of them arriving and browsing?
It's usually the browsing. Then I think, oh well, I make my own Christmas cake and I do my own pudding. Oh, but actually this would be quite nice. So there's the occasional order as well.
Yeah. And do you visit Yorkshire a lot? You're based in Oxfordshire. Do you like to go back?
I love going back. Yeah, I do. It's still very much home. I think it always will be. We had a bit of a moment about 10 years ago, and we'd been living in London. This is me and Dan, my partner. He was just spending so much time in the car driving backwards and across London and back again for work. He was like, I can't do this anymore. We're going to have to leave. And I was absolutely furious, just furious, because I was really happy and settled. And anyway, we moved up to Cookham, just near Maidenhead. It was as I was starting the business, and I went up to Bradford to the wool board there. They do sometimes do open days, the wool board, and they've got sites around the UK. And if you can ever get to an open day and you want to know more about how they work and see the vast quantity of wool and speak to some experts, it's really worth a visit. The big wool depot, it's on... I can't remember if it's on or very close to Manningham Lane in Bradford. And then the really big Scourers is just down the road as well. And Bradford's, it's such an old Yorkshire town or city. And it's really multicultural. And I went back, and having been out of Yorkshire, like not lived in Yorkshire for a long time, and I went and spent a day with these people at the wool board, and we had this amazing guy showing us around, and he was so enthusiastic about it all, and he had this really dry sense of humour, this real Yorkshire sense of humour that you might not find funny if you didn't quite know what he meant. I got back home and I was like, we have to move back to Yorkshire. We have to just move back to Yorkshire now. I'm really not happy that we've moved out of London, and now I want to go home. So we went and looked at houses. And then it just wasn't going to work with Dan's business. So then we moved to the village where we met you and your mum and all the other things. But at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up back there. But yeah, I had a real moment in Bradford. It was nuts. It's a massive county anyway, but it's a county of contrasts as well. There are the amazing mountains. There's the coastline. There's a lot of wealth. There's a lot of poverty. But I think it is literally the Yorkshire people that make it. Yeah, it's definitely the humour and the Yorkshire folk who make Yorkshire.
This has just made me think. A key question that's suddenly come to me is, what are your thoughts on Yorkshire tea? Because they're...
Oh, yeah.
When you said it's the people, I was thinking Yorkshire tea, and then I thought their slogan is tea done proper.
Done proper, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Yorkshire tea? Do you like it? Or do you have another favourite?
I do like Yorkshire tea. Well, for years I have drunk Yorkshire tea, and it's always been up there. It's like, yeah, that's the tea that I want. I'm a bit of a not PG and definitely not Tetley's. And Then my grandma used to get Ringtons delivery. Do you know about Ringtons?
No.
So Ringtons is a northern company. I think they're Newcastle based, or were. They have a tea van, and the van comes round and delivers your tea. The driver would arrive in the van and any tea this week or this month, and there'd be tea in the back of the van, and in amongst the tea you could buy things like a tea caddy and little special trinkets that they'd have for anniversaries and Christmas sets and that kind of thing. And my grandma always drank Ringtons loose leaf tea, and my sister swears by it. And then when my mum moved up to Whitby, she was like, we get a Ringtons delivery. We have the Ringtons van comes round, and she brought me a pack, and I'm now committed Ringtons tea drinker. It's the best. Yeah, there you go.
So this van, does the van still go round to people's towns and villages?
Yeah, the Ringtons van. If you go online, I think you can see whereabouts in the country they deliver to, and you can arrange to have them turn up at your house on it's Wednesday afternoons, we're in Whitby or wherever you are, and they'll drop it off. Or they do mail order as well, but I think it's quite nice buying from the tea van.
You know how Coca-Cola, they do the bus?
Oh,
they should make Ringtons go national at Christmas.
They should have a big
big ad
with
campaign.
Ringtons tea.
Yeah.
And Santa drive in it and all the lights.
Yeah.
Well,
I've never heard of Ringtons before. You've said it now. But I instantly love the fact that you can say, oh, could you just drop by near my house?
With my tea, please. Yeah. I think it might still be a real Yorkshire thing and sort of the northeast. Dan's mum always has Ringtons tea as well, and they're in Selby, so... Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have a favourite type of their tea?
I can't remember what the blend is, but I think it's just their standard tea. They do like a gold standard as well, like Yorkshire Tea Gold. And then they do some specialist blends, but it's just the standard one. It's quite strong. If you don't like strong tea, it's not going to be your cup of tea. Yeah, it's delicious.
It's really incredible.
Delicious.
I'm already a fan.
Okay.
Shall we go on to mug number 3? I think we're on.
Yeah. Okay, should I do coffee?
Yes.
Okay. This is my coffee mug. I usually only have one coffee a day. It has to be in a particular shaped cup. So something slightly shorter and wider, because it's quite a nice thing just having one coffee a day, and I'll sit down and have it with my breakfast. And it always feels nicer in one of these cups. So this particular one is from a London-based ceramicist called Pip Hartle, who does these beautiful sort of speckledy glazes, and she does some beautiful things. If I had £1 million, I'd love a whole dinner service. But it's this thing of sort of admiring artisans and craftspeople, and then just being able to buy a little bit and support them in some way, but also show that you really recognise their work. So this is my coffee mug.
It's very beautiful. Are you doing latte art? Would you do a latte thing? Do you have a frothy coffee? What kind of coffee do you go for? I was just wondering, because then in the wide base you could see it really clearly.
I hadn't thought. Do you think that's what it is? Is that why they're shaped like this for the latte art?
Well, surely not. Latte art's not always been trendy, has it?
I'm not very good at it. It literally is just like, I just kind of dump the froth on top. I mean, it sounds deeply unappealing, but yeah, it must be. I don't know if it's because maybe a holding thing.
Yeah,
it has to be wider, or who knows. I'm sure the Italians could tell us.
Yeah,
I mean, we're probably doing it all wrong, and we should probably have a completely different cup for our lattes. Because you see latte in like a tall glass as well, don't you, sometimes?
Yeah.
But maybe that was just a passing trend.
Interesting.
It is, yeah. And I'm quite particular about my coffee flavour as well, so I don't like a fruity coffee.
Do you have a favourite coffee brand that you go to or go for?
We actually do at the moment. We found this really fabulous coffee roaster in a place called Weedon. They are called Yellow Bourbon coffee roasters. He makes this really delicious one. It's something like something about cherries in the name of it. And it's a really delicious bean, really tasty. I don't want to sound like a coffee snob because... but if you don't like a particular coffee, there'll be another one out there that you might like, kind of thing. So we like his coffee.
Words of wisdom. When you talked about, obviously, artisans and handcrafted pieces, because we're about to enter the festive season, do you have any particular small businesses like that that you really love that we could share with people? So that they could
That's a
support
really
them?
nice idea. I think one of the really easiest ways to support people, if it's a ceramicist, you can usually find a mug or something quite small that they're making. There's a really good organisation called Just a Card that was set up by a woman in South London with some other friends, and it was literally about supporting small businesses, and you can do that by buying just a card. And it makes, you know, if just a few people do that, it makes all the difference, and it'll cost you like £3-4, but it makes a big difference to the small businesses. I try and buy everything from independent companies where I can, which I know is really difficult and it can take quite a lot of time, but once you get knowing different food producers and markets that you can go to where you might meet different makers and the art weeks that go on and things like that, and then go back to them if you're looking for presents. Don't necessarily just go into a big supermarket and think, I'll do all my Christmas shopping here. If you've got the time and money, it really makes a big difference to small businesses. If you can just think about them. Because it's usually just one or two people just trying to do something they love.
And every piece is so original because obviously it's often they're more one of a kind or very limited quantities, a bit like what you produce. There's a reason that there's not thousands available.
Yeah, it's something quite special. And I think maybe more thought goes into it as well. Like you might see something and think, that is actually perfect for such and such, and they'd appreciate who's made it as well.
Yeah, lovely. Mug number 4.
Another small maker, and this is a tea mug.
Ooh.
And
Look at that shape.
it's kind of like a cone with the top chopped off, I suppose, isn't it? This is by a ceramicist in Devon called Russell Kingston. And he makes these wonderful ceramics with these kind of drops in them, in the glaze. When we're visiting friends in Devon, I usually pop into his studio and pick up another something. I love the colours. They're completely different to anything else I've seen out there. He's got his own style. I really love these. I had a really special one that got broken that I kept the pieces from, obviously, because one day I'll fix it and maybe reuse it. I did, however, buy something online from him for Dan. He'd advertised these espresso cups, and Dan drinks espresso. So I was like, that's what I'll get him for Christmas. I'll get him one of Russell's espresso mugs. I'm not very good with measurements, so I'm known to get things vastly wrong, either on the big or the small side. I ordered this espresso cup and it turned up. And it was this. Can you see how tiny it is?
It's very small.
It's so tiny.
So wait, did you order a set or was it just the one?
No, I just ordered one. And I love it so much, but it's so small. I don't think you can even get his espresso in it. I mean, possibly. So that's it next to its tea mug.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I was expecting something bigger. So basically, it just gets you, it could be used as like a Christmas tree decoration.
Yeah.
And also maybe for shots, for tequila shots or something. He can't actually get his espresso in it, but yeah. It's such a good little cup, but it's little.
Do you know what? It's a great use for anyone who has any espresso cups that they don't want to use anymore. Add some ribbon, pop it on the tree, or
Pop it on the tree.
use it as a decoration around the house. A piece of art.
That's a good idea. We just have it sitting on a shelf at home and it just makes me laugh. It's so beautiful as well.
Does Dan use it at all?
Not that one, no. He actually uses, he's got some cups that were from my mum's wedding dinner service, so like 1970 or 69 or something, and we got some bits and pieces from Mum, passed them on to us, so he uses the mugs, the cups from there.
You said obviously one of your favourites very sadly broke and you kept the pieces. It sort of sums up the feeling that we have. Lots of us have for our mugs. So maybe someone needs to make that into a business of how we can...
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the whole Japanese craft, isn't there, of, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, using the gold.
Kintsugi?
That sounds about right, yeah. I'd love that, even because I've got a really special mug that I spent quite a bit of money, more money than I should have done on a mug, but it was so beautiful, and that got broken. I'm hoping one day that can be mended together, even if then it just sits on and it's something to look at. We do get attached to these things. I mean, I try not to get upset. I'm really clumsy, so when things get broken, over the years, I've learned to not get upset about it because they're just things. But sometimes I'm like, that really was a special thing.
You shared with me the other day a mug that was £750. £750 is a lot. You wouldn't want to drink it, would you? Or drink out of it?
No, I wouldn't dare pick it up. It'd be the kind of thing I'd literally pick up and just drop on the floor as well. My first car cost less than that. It's a lot of money. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful and I'd love one, but then I couldn't use it. So then it loses its function. So then it's not serving its purpose. It's a lost mug. It's a lost mug.
Like a sock that never comes out of the washing machine.
Yeah, it's lost its use.
Yeah.
I think somebody could probably write a PhD on that.
They could. Mugs that lose their meaning and their purpose in life. Yeah. I'm still laughing inside about the tiny, tiny espresso.
A tiny cup.
Yeah. I'd love for you to send a picture of it with a ribbon on the tree.
Oh, on the tree, I will too. Might have to find a tiny tree to put it on as well.
Yeah, it's a bit heavier than your standard tree decoration.
Yeah, that's true, actually. You might need a little harness for it to ensure it stays. It's adorable.
Wow. Is this the final mug that we're about to go on to?
This is my final mug. Actually, this is a mug that's lost its purpose, I've just realised.
You were predicting your own future there.
I was. That's quite sad. So, I mean, I know I'm not alone in having mugs and cups in the cupboard that just are never used for different reasons, because maybe actually you don't like that cup, but it's quite useful if you've got people around or that kind of thing. And this is a mug that I picked up, I think it was at a charity shop or a jumble sale or something. I just love it, but I've never used it. It's a Terry's of York, Terry's chocolate. It's kind of a souvenir mug. I think it was probably made in the 60s, and it's got a gift wrap box on it and bright flowers in pinks and blues, quite a psychedelic pattern, and it's a really nice shape as well. I like the base is a little bit smaller than the actual cup, and it feels really nice, but it's crazed inside so badly I daren't use it. So it sits in the drawer and it's been there for years now. It's still there, it still sits there. I don't use it, but I still love it. One day I might part with it.
Maybe you could use it as a vase or something.
I mean, this is the other thing. It's like the mug that's lost its handle. You still love the mug, but can you then use it as a vase? Or I have some that I use for pen holders and things like that, but then I wouldn't want it to get damaged.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just better off sitting in the drawer and I just look at it every now and again and love it.
Yeah. Is that Terry's, like Terry's the chocolate orange?
Terry's Chocolate Orange, yeah. So their factory was York. When I was growing up and looking for holiday jobs, this was like the holiday job to get, was working at the chocolate factory. So
Did you get it?
No, I ended up in the cardboard factory. Dan ended up in the pickling factory.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love pickled things.
You wouldn't after standing on production lines.
True. Does Dan eat pickled things now?
He does still eat them, yeah. He made it to the giddy heights of sauce brewing.
Ooh.
So, yeah, he was in charge of brown sauce and red sauce and
So
those
cool.
kind of... I love factories. The whole production line of things is eternally fascinating. Unfortunately, a lot of the ones in our area were food related. There was like the bacon factory as well and the turkey and mushrooms as well. I did work in a mushroom picking farm for a while. I was lucky to get the cardboard. I did well.
No aversion to cardboard.
No.
Yet.
Not yet.
So we're about to come to the quickfire favourites portion of
this is gonna be,
the episode. But before that, what I wanted to ask is, what's next for Daughter of a Shepherd? Is there anything exciting coming up?
Well, it's our 10th anniversary, so I'm going to be doing things the way that I've done them for the last 10 years, which is literally on a wing and a prayer. And I've got a limited edition yarn to launch, which will come out in the next week or so. I'm hoping to have something else next year as well. I'm looking into some other little projects, but it's a really strange time at the moment for the world, really, isn't it? I mean, it's not a great place, and we're just looking at different ways of doing things and how and if I can continue doing what I do. Maybe it's time for something new. Maybe I look at doing something different with it. So I'm in a bit of a flux at the moment with business, but I love what I do, and I'm sure whatever I do, I'll end up still doing something with wool, but I'm just not sure what that is yet. So.
Well, that's very exciting, and
it is. It's terrifying, but it's also exciting. So.
Yeah. I'm sure what you've done so far will stand you in good stead, and everybody will support you probably a lot more than you even realise. People come out and surprise you, like overwhelmed by all the support.
Yeah, I mean, you must feel like that with the podcast, because because I was like, I'm not sure if anybody's going to buy this. If I make it, is anybody going to buy it? And then they did. And I was like, oh, they like it. So, and was it the same when you were starting the podcast? Is anybody going to listen to this?
Yes.
Am I, did you decide to do it because you wanted to? It was just, you thought it'd be fun?
Yeah, I felt really strongly about the idea. I knew that it didn't, it's a bit like Desert Undisc, so it's not a really original concept in terms of obviously a thing of meaning, but I knew it didn't exist. I really believed that there was some fun conversations to be had out of it. And I, probably like lots of people, I thought, people are going to think it's really embarrassing, and they're going to listen and think, Juliet's so cringy. It would be awful. But then I guess, like with anything, you have to put the cringe aside and tell yourself that just by doing something and putting yourself out there, that's the best thing you could do in the world. And there's always going to be people who think, oh, well, that's rubbish. But I think it's important to try and just focus on doing something, and often that could be more of a reflection on that person, not yourself. Definitely. Which is hard to get past sometimes.
It is. You're right, though. You just need to park those sort of negative thoughts and just look at what positivity comes out of it, I guess. And yeah, there are people who won't like what I do and don't understand it and don't like the wool and it's itchy, but then there's like the people who do and who love it and who get what I'm doing as well. So yeah, it's exactly the same for you.
Well, I sense very good exciting things to come, kind of like a state of renewal.
Yeah, I think it is.
Like a sheep
shedding. It could literally be like, it's time to have a good shearing. It's like Shrek. Just take that fleece off and let's start again.
Well, everyone will obviously have to stay tuned and follow you, because your Daughter of a Shepherd on Instagram, is that the best place that people can find you?
It's Instagram, and then I also write a newsletter that I really enjoy doing. It's quite random as to how many times I send it, and that sort of talks if we've been out with the sheep, but a lot of sort of out and about walking with Dee Dee, our dog, and all of those kind of things as well. And
perfect.
I enjoy doing that.
So, quick 5 favourites. So I'm
ready.
Put together a list of questions. Some are unique to you, and some are questions we ask each guest. So I thought we could begin with, obviously we've talked about Dee Dee, the dog. She's a Jack Russell, a permanent feature in your life, obviously, and also your socials.
Yes.
So what I would love to know is, what is Dee Dee's the dog favourite thing? Also, what is her favourite part of the Daughter of a Shepherd process?
Her favourite thing is being warm. She loves being warm. That's her, and that is her aim in life, is to stay warm, be warm, use all the blanket. Otherwise, it's probably sausages.
She's living a life we all aspire to be
she
cosy.
Really is. Favourite thing about this, she does come to work, so she enjoys this. She gets lots of fusses, but it's definitely when we're out and about, and she can go off and have a run through the countryside and see where we are.
Next question. This is from another interview I saw you do. What is your favourite ballet?
Oh, ballet. Yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we? Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. There's probably 3. Swan Lake, I can watch over and over and over again. Song of the Earth is just astonishing and it blows me away every time I see it. It's not done very often. And 3 would be, I want to say Nutcracker, but it'll be Wolfworks, which is a ballet based on 3 of Virginia Woolf's novels. It was a fairly new ballet by Wayne McGregor. It's very modern, and the first run didn't sell out, and I went to see it on the first night and it blew me away so much. I think I saw pretty much every other performance in the run. I just went home and booked more tickets. I never thought I'd get into the ballet how I have done. But if you've ever thought of going, do you go?
So I normally go, to be honest, to the Nutcracker, which is obviously the most mainstream, the one that everyone turns out for. It's probably like, you know, when you're a really, like you love the ballet, you go to lots of different performances, everyone just comes out for the Nutcracker. And then they're not there the rest of the year. But because I went to performing arts school, and so I was alongside ballet dancers training to be professional dancers, I really appreciate the skill and the discipline that's required in any ballet from any person.
It's incredible, the work that goes into it. I think that's the other thing with the ballet. It's not just the dancers, it's everything else that goes with it. So it's the music, the setting, the whole going to the ballet. I love the mix of people that are there. It's a whole experience. I was very lucky to live in London, and it was easy for me to get to the ballet, and tickets started at so cheap, like cheaper than a cup of coffee. So it was really accessible as well. I can't imagine life without it now. It's become such a big part of life.
So have you got a Christmas ballet booked?
I have, yes. It's Nutcracker. It's Nutcracker.
Which one? Which Nutcracker do you
It's the opera.
enjoy?
It's the Opera House one, the Royal Opera House. Yeah, we went one year. Took my dad, who's also really into the ballet, which it was quite strange when I found this out. But so we were like, we'll go see the Nutcracker, and we're in the Opera House, and there's this magical scene, and the tree's about to grow, and it literally grows on the stage, and you feel like a child again. And so Drosselmeyer, he's kind of swooshing around with his cape, and he's willing this tree and magicking it, and it's growing, and the tree didn't move. And he kept trying his magic, and his magic didn't work. It's like this cringy moment of like, something's gone wrong backstage, and they just had to close the curtains, and then as if by magic the tree was there. It's so typical. It was a special outing, and then the tree didn't do what it should. What can you do?
The magic just not functioning for a moment.
No.
What are your dream pairings for tea or coffee?
A biscuit or a cake. I love a digestive.
Is that chocolate or plain?
Plain, just a plain digestive. Love a digestive. Love a chocolate hobnob.
Yeah.
Occasionally a Tunnocks.
A caramel wafer?
Caramel wafer.
Oh, it's got to be.
It's got to be, hasn't it? They're so good.
Would you dunk those?
Yes, definitely. I am a dunker.
Excellent choices. Do you have a favourite yarn or collection? Yarn might not be the right phrase.
Yarn is, yeah. Do you mean sort of like in terms of...
That you've done?
That I've done. I mean, they are all my favourite.
Yeah, it's
really
challenging.
It's probably the one that started it all, which was one we call Heritage DK, which was the main, here's what we do. And it still sums up very much what I do. So it's pure wool, it's the natural black colour, does what it says on the tin.
And which breeds is that? Is it a combination?
So, well, originally I wanted to spin the Hebridean, just 100% Hebridean fibre, but the fibres of Hebridean aren't quite long enough to spin it as 100%. So the mill blend it with Svorbles, which is another black sheep that has a longer staple, so that they can cling together, because it's getting a bit technical. But we spin worsted for our heritage collection, and Hebridean is usually spun woolen because it's not long enough. But I couldn't get the quality that I wanted having it woolen spun. So we have it worsted spun.
It's fascinating. If you don't know the world, you actually like, I never knew any of this.
Yeah, it is. I keep learning things. So.
Yeah. So connected to that question, do you have a favourite sheep?
Oh, well, I have to. It's the Hebrideans.
The Hebrideans.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're really hardy. They live outside all year round. They have their lambs outside. They're kind of amazing. They're quite small, really pretty. They just tick all the boxes. So
They're the queen of the sheep.
Queen of the sheep.
Do you have any artwork of sheep? Or sheep inspired?
Sheep inspired.
Or is it a bit too
artwork.
much? You're like, I've got enough sheep.
Oh no, I'm always picking up.
Because you've got your little wall of, look at that.
Yeah, so I love vintage. I'm a bit of a magpie for a car boot and things and an auction and things like that. And pick up anything sheepy along the way. So I've got some Beswick sheep. This is a Wensleydale. And the Little Britons lead sheep.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite a small flock at the moment, actually. I've got another one. I think this is another Beswick. They're possibly a Suffolk. I'll tell you all about my Nessie as well. I know
So this is not a sheep, is it?
This is not a sheep, but she's so fantastic. So she's Beswick, and she was made for Ben Eagle Scotch whisky by the Beswick Company, and it's a Loch Ness, and she has her stoppers here, and it was originally filled with whiskey, so it was like a tourist thing to buy, and her hat doesn't stay on, so I made her a little scarf there. I think she's adorable. She just makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. I think we all need things around us that make us laugh. And,
Definitely.
Just every now and again, something just so silly, like the silly small cup and the little Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, and I suggested when we were talking earlier that I think they would love some little, like a tea cosy, but for sheep.
I might try this. I'll send you pictures.
I can't wait. I'm thrilled. I've got so many things to see. I've got to see the little cup on the Christmas tree. I've got the woolen tea cozies on the sheep. It's going to be a feast. If you were on a desert island, who would you love to have on there with you? What I like to say is that immediate family are already there, so you don't have to worry about them.
And good and best friend and
And yeah,
you have
your best friends. Yeah.
Okay, so God, this was such a hard question. I would quite like Nick Offerman.
Yes. I'm just rewatching Parks and Recreation.
Yes. I mean, he's fun. I love him. I just love him. So, but he's also just brought out this woodworking book for kids.
I saw this in the bookshop the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? So, and he was in Bath doing signings, and I missed him. I know, and I miss. It's probably just as well because I only get really embarrassed and say something stupid and run away. He was on a podcast, I think it was last week or the week before, and if I can find it, I'll send it to you. But he was talking about craft, the importance of making things with our hands, and not only do you get an object at the end of it, it's the skills that go into it, and then also like how it buoys you up, these skills that you maybe thought you didn't have, but they're there, and we shouldn't lose these things because creating things and making things, they're so fulfilling. Like sometimes I just make a dishcloth, and it's just a dishcloth, but I've sat down and I've used my hands and I've thought about the yarn I'm going to use, and it has a purpose. It's this whole thing of losing skills that I really worry about, because once they're gone, that's it, they're gone. If we don't pass these things on. But he said it so much more eloquently. So I was like, actually, if he's on the desert island, number one, he's really good woodworker. He's really good. So he can build shelters and all of those things. But also he can show me how to be a woodworker. So I wouldn't get bored. I'd have something to do. So Nick Offerman was a definite.
I think that's a brilliant choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can have more, there are other people.
Oh, yeah, you can have some more people.
Can have more.
It doesn't just have to be you and Nick Offerman.
Me, Nick.
Can be.
You know. I don't know if he can cook. I'm a terrible cook. So, but if Dan's there, he cooks. So I've got that one covered. And then I was thinking about the other thing. It would probably be someone like Seamus Heaney. There's Ted Hughes and Mary Oliver, but I kind of lean towards Seamus Heaney because he could write about the whole experience in the most beautiful way, and then he could read all his poetry to me, and it would be so lovely. I'd be happy.
I love how you've approached this.
It's quite philosophical.
Yeah, because obviously this is the only question when people ask, what do I need to prep? I say nothing, just bring your mugs and think about who you want on a desert island. But I love this. I've never heard such an intriguing answer.
I mean, there's the survival side of things with Nick. I don't sit still very well. I always like to be doing something. So having something to create and do, Nick can show me that. But then also I like this kind of gentle side of things and the reading and the words and all of that. The only other person that came to me is this amazing woman who I know through sheep called Gemma Harding, who she got married recently, so she's changed her surname. She used to work for MTV years ago and was hit by a truck or a bus in the city of London and woke up in hospital with just in bits. And she was rebuilt and she went back to live on her parents' farm while she was recuperating and got back into shepherding. And so she looks after these flocks, but over the years she's gradually built herself up and she now runs ultramarathons. Her journey and her story is just, it's phenomenal. She was in Kazakhstan, I think it was Kazakhstan recently, running an ultramarathon, and to have gone through what she has and to come back round and have found something that she loves, and like how she's managed her body in that way as well, and to go through all the trauma that she must have gone through. I find that incredible and inspiring. So I'd say Gemma, because she can get me into shape. And I suspect she won't take any excuses either, which is what I need.
Yeah.
But just to, like, as someone to be really inspiring. Yeah. So I'm going to give a shout out to her.
What a wonderful setup. It sounds like, Desert Island couldn't come soon enough.
Honestly. I'd
A
love
little
it.
trip.
I'd love it.
That's a really wonderful, eclectic mix of people. To have a lovely time. So finally, obviously, hopefully, this will be going out just before Christmas. So do you have any festive traditions for our festival? Oh, look at Dee Dee.
I could hear her scratching at the door.
Oh, Dee Dee, you've joined us just in time for the festive tradition. She says, I love Christmas and being warm.
She blooming loves Christmas. She's very good at opening presents. She'll literally stand and tear all the paper off. And there's usually quite a lot of balls and a lot of treats. And sometimes you get a new bed. Yeah. Are you spoiled? Yeah.
Me?
We love her so much, as you can probably tell. Festive traditions. I've got kind of a love-hate relationship with Christmas. So I love all the build-up to it, and I love Christmassy feeling. I love all the food. I really enjoy making the cake and making the pudding and all of those kind of things. I'd be quite glad to actually skip the Christmas bit, if that makes sense. I used to do a whole thing with the tree and putting our old decorations on it, and a few years ago, I was like, it's time to move on. So now I do my own tree with my own decorations and whatever we feel like putting on it instead.
This year it'd be the espresso cup. With a harness.
With a harness, I might have to. It could possibly become on the top of the tree.
Or you could put a star, make it into the cup star.
Yeah, the cup star.
So when you're doing your pudding, you posted, I think it was maybe a couple of weeks ago now, something that you baked that looked absolutely, I assume you'd baked it, you might not have. This ginger, was it ginger?
Oh, the parking.
Yes.
Parking. Yeah, it's so good. So
What
good.
is that?
So, it's something we grew up with, and it's a Yorkshire gingerbread. You find it in Lancashire as well, best known in Yorkshire, I think. And it's a gingerbread, but it's got oatmeal in it. And you bake it, and then the worst thing is you have to leave it for at least a week, 10 days. Yeah, so you have to wrap it up and tuck it away, and then you can eat it once it's matured a bit and all the flavours have settled down, and it becomes stickier with age as well. It's so yummy. If you don't make it your own, there's a really good bakery in Whitby called Botham's or Bothams,
Dee Dee's back. She needs to hear about Christmas again. Do they happen to do, home visits like
like the Ringtons van? Sadly not.
Yeah.
Sadly not.
You need to petition for that.
Good. Yeah, we do. Yeah, they
Sounds
do good
delicious.
ginger snap.
Well, Rachel, it has been so... it's like a warm hug chatting to you.
Oh, thank you so
about
much for having
mugs.
me. And Dee Dee.
Dee Dee, I know. Look at Dee Dee.
Say thank you, Juliet.
It's been really insightful. I've learned a lot about the knitting industry and what you do, but also just to hear all the stories about the mugs. It's been great.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. It's been interesting sort of thinking about various things that, and chatting about where the business has been and where we've come from. It's always a really good reminder for me to remember where I started and
Yeah, you should always
why.
look at how far you've come, and I think it's easy to lose perspective, isn't it, of
Really
the
is.
impact that you actually have had when you're in it. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story, and I'm sure wonderful things to come in the future as you have your renewal.
Yes, thank you very much.